I think it would take a few rounds.
Really?
But yeah. First of all, Jake is a lot bigger. Jake's a lot bigger.
But what weight would they fight
Well,
at?
I don't think Jake is getting anywhere lower than 205 pounds.
There's a few Americans, and this might be crazy, I think Jake Paul's got a chance. And I know that sounds crazy, but I do think that there are, where I don't believe anyone over here thinks this goes more than around 2 max.
Joe Rogan reacts with surprise to Jake Paul's transformed physique ahead of the Anthony Joshua fight, noting how sharply focused and prepared Jake looks. He points out that Jake has faced real fighters in the past, even if some were nearing retirement, and still push himself through serious training. Rogan adds that Joshua moving toward 40 changes the dynamic of this matchup, making the whole event more intriguing. He says he genuinely wants to watch how the showdown unfolds.
It'd be crazy. I like a little freak show every now and then. As far as, like, would you like to see...
I like
Jake
a
Paul,
lot of freak shows.
Look, if Jake Paul wants to fight for the title, I would like to see him beat top contenders in the light heavyweight division or whatever division he chooses to compete at, and then eventually fight for a title. Yeah.
But are the fights even real? Like the Tyson fight? Like, I saw video breakdowns of Tyson...
Jake Paul's latest physical transformation has sparked a wave of reactions across the combat sports scene. The short clip circulating online shows a fighter who looks sharper, denser, and far more conditioned than in any of his previous camps. His posture, the tightness in his movements, and the sheer confidence in his presence give the impression of someone who is preparing for the most significant challenge of his career. With Anthony Joshua standing across from him in the near future, this version of Jake feels like a deliberate answer to those who once called him a sideshow. He appears determined to prove he belongs on a stage once reserved only for elite professionals. Fans note how drastically his physique has evolved in a short time, signaling that this camp is built on seriousness rather than showmanship. Former world champion Andre Berto adds an intriguing layer to the conversation. While he admits that most people want to see Anthony Joshua score a dominant knockout, he points out that the situation is not as simple as it looks on paper. Joshua has not produced many standout performances recently, and Berto hints that the inconsistency makes this matchup unpredictable. On the other hand, Jake is surrounded by a strong team comprising experienced trainers who push him to utilize his youth, strength, and conditioning to the fullest. Berto's perspective is that even though fans expect a one-sided outcome, the fight's direction depends heavily on which version of Joshua shows up. With Jake improving and staying disciplined, Berto believes this clash has genuine potential to go in either direction.
You our baby. Like, you one of the first ones, and he gonna always take care of Bert. But then Floyd was as massive as he was. So how you split, how you do that?
No, I mean one thing with Al's always gonna, he got loyalty to, he got big loyalty to Floyd as well. Because they made so much money together. But, it's funny how, he can say whatever he want to say. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how that, how the fight got, it kind of came about. But they had the Pacquiao and Floyd fight. We all go up there. We check the fight out. Good situation. And then just me and my lady, we walking through the casino. What's his name? Rodney Jerkins.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Rodney Jerkins, big music producer. Y'all can talk to him and ask him. Rodney Jerkins.
Some analysts take a more economical look at Jake Paul's preparation. They focus on his sparring sessions with heavyweight fighters and the mutual benefits these matchups provide. For Jake, facing larger opponents allows him to feel the kind of power he may encounter in the ring with Joshua. It pushes him to handle pressure, adjust timing, and remain composed under heavy fire. For the heavyweights, however, the biggest gain comes from the financial side. Training with a high-profile figure, like Jake, means a sizable payday, far more than what they might receive in a typical camp. These sparring rounds become both a learning ground and a significant financial opportunity, creating a dynamic where everyone involved walks away with something valuable.
Getting a lot of money to be there, and it's easy work. But what is in that for Lawrence Okoli, Frank Sanchez, and Jared Anderson?
Easy money. I don't know how much he'll be paying sparring partners. I assume to get those caliber of sparring partners in, it's got to be big money.
Lawrence Cody's got a fight coming up. If you're Joe Gallagher, you go spar Jake Paul, is that going to help you?
No, absolutely not. Are you going to get a bit of profile from it, perhaps? People are going to hear your name?
Yeah.
Does that help? I mean, we're going to spar with Kessler, and I got £500 or euros for the week. It was the hardest money I've ever earned in my life.
But how much did you learn from?
Yeah, me, bundles.
Yeah. What's the Cody learn? I don't get it.
No.
I mean, I do get it, the money. But when you got a fight coming up, I'm thinking, really? Are you going to get anything out of that sparring that's going to help you in your fight? Maybe you are. Maybe I'm just completely diminishing Jake Paul's ability, but I'm struggling. I really am.
Fair play to Jake Paul. I mean...
And you're right, there's a bit of a conflict there, because Joshua used to manage him.
Yeah, it was through 258, right?
Yeah. But surely they're smashing him to pieces. Surely Jake's going, oh, what the fuck? This is fucking horrible.
Every single one of those 3 fighters there could annihilate him in a round.
Yeah, so...
Brendan Shaw and Brian Callen offer a different angle, one that shifts attention onto Anthony Joshua. They argue that Joshua needs to walk into this fight fully aware of what he represents. For them, this matchup is not only about winning, but about protecting the reputation of boxing itself. Joshua fighting on a massive streaming platform like Netflix means millions of casual viewers will tune in, and many of them will judge the strength of the sport by how he performs. Shia and Kalen urge that Joshua must treat this fight as a statement. He must walk in with clarity, discipline, and determination, proving to the world why he remains one of boxing's major names. They emphasize that this is not the night for hesitation or doubt.
Mentally, he's not like, all right, I got a job to do. I'm representing boxing. A lot of American fans don't know me. This will be the most watched thing on fucking Netflix ever for sports-wise. So I got to make a good, showing. Hopefully he has that approach. I assume he does. Because he did with Francis, he was like, nah, bitch, the train stops here.
Yeah.
And Tyson Fury's a little more of a character. Hey, wow, what are we going to do? Let's move around a little bit.
I remember when he caught Klitschko with that uppercut, Anthony Joshua.
And he got caught. He got set down.
Klitschko, yes. And Klitschko is a big man. You're just dealing with literally a different ecosystem, man.
But that's what makes it, that's why it's a brilliant move by Jake. Because his fan base is like, oh my God, Jake, it's David versus Goliath, literally. It's this YouTuber Disney kid. Look how far he's come. He's actually going to do it. What if he wins? So there's that demo of his. And then there's the rest of the world who go, and they're so off on this, but they go, we got to get Jake Paul out of boxing. I can't wait to see his head get knocked off by Anthony Joshua. And that's the majority, right? So those two worlds mix, and you get the most watched boxing match on Netflix ever. More so than Mike Tyson at fucking 77 in a fake sparring match. This, So if you're Jake, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so let's go through it. Let's say Jake gets knocked out 1 minute.
Sports analyst Ada Oladipo expands the discussion by highlighting the changes Joshua has made in his own training approach. He notes that Joshua has shifted his style, refined his rhythm, and taken this matchup extremely seriously. At the same time, Oladipo suggests that Jake is not coming in blind. Knowing Joshua is adjusting, Jake has likely made his own changes behind the scenes, experimenting with a new style, expanding his techniques, and polishing the details that could give him an edge. Oladipo believes Jake is aware that this opportunity demands his best version, because both men are reinventing themselves for this matchup. Oladipo gives Jake a tangible shot at creating a moment that surprises everyone.
Well, that camp. And I mean, if you are Jake Paul, I mean, shit just got even more real. So AJ's taking it that serious. He's now training with the Usyk camp, not just for your fight, but for fights going forward. This isn't AJ saying, okay, you know what, I'm just going to train myself. Just get in shape and maybe just train with my amateur coach. This is AJ saying, no, we're going to train with Usyk's team. And I'm basically meaning, or I'm saying, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. You want me to get down to 245 pounds? No problem. We've done that before, and that was one of my best performances before. Obviously, I'm talking about AJ versus Usyk too. So, yeah, I still can't believe it's happening, but it is happening. It will do incredible numbers. I've said that I think it will do numbers as big as Canelo Crawford. Some people have laughed at that. don't laugh, honestly, because Canelo Crawford over here, it would have been a small, minute percentage of people that would have watched it on Netflix over here. AJ fighting over here, everyone's watching it. Everyone's watching it. Everyone's watching it in Africa because that's the impact AJ has. And obviously everyone's going to be watching it in America because of Jake Paul. And then because of how that photo looked. Again, David versus Goliath. People are now way more intrigued than they were for Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. So, I'm intrigued as to how it looks in the first 20 seconds. And then I'll be able to just make my mind up as to how long this goes. But I will still stand firm and say AJ should, not will, should get rid of Jake Paul in one round. Should. And if he doesn't, then I don't know what.
You know, on Boxing Scene today, analysts described this fight as one of the boldest decisions Jake Paul has ever made. They acknowledged that he could have chosen easier opponents and continued building his record slowly. Instead, he opted to challenge a former heavyweight champion known worldwide for his knockout power and technical mastery. This decision exposes him to enormous risk, but also offers unprecedented reward. If Jake performs well, even in defeat, it shifts public perception permanently. If he wins, the